What can we say goodbye, bro? Cheers. Now, it's okay. People think you're a little crazy. Why am I making this video? Well, it's come to my attention that I coach souls that feel led to ask me for guidance of that nature, and this theme of what are the other people in my life gonna think if I start doing what in my soul I feel led to do. And I think a lot of that conditioning of going with the herd, you know, even the idea of herd immunity, to me, is crazy. And people think I'm crazy for thinking it's crazy, you know? How you gonna win? And I meditate this out, you know? You gotta meditate about this a bit. I think we all, at one point of our lives, meditate on what does it actually mean to be crazy. I know I did, especially when I was younger, and I wasn't really familiar with society in the way that I am now. And there was definitely like this idea of going along with the herd. Okay, you walk along with the herd. If you don't, then you're crazy. And I thought, well, okay, so is craziness just a mindset that is so similar and receptive to, let's just say, the larger collective population, that it's what we deem as sane? Is that what it is? Is it just kind of that understood, like, all right, oh, what is good? Hello, good to see you. I'll just say, Jay, thanks. Good to see you. But it really does make me think, okay, you're not crazy. Even if somebody says you're crazy. And I mean, hey, I think it's worth listening to them depending on how they say it. But there's such a powerful perspective. What is good? Living like Natalie. When you are able to see that this idea that we have of being crazy, I think honestly is just this whole rift of communication. When two beings are not communicating in a way where it can be understood, then you could say the other person is crazy. Like, I'm using the example of possibly a being who has schizophrenia, which may be hearing things or seeing things that are beyond this realm. Now, a lot of people back in the day would say they're crazy because I don't hear the things that they're hearing. I don't see the things they're seeing. And it's not just me, but it's the majority of people. Therefore, they're crazy because they're perceiving things that honestly are not, you could say, typical to experience. And I don't know. You know, that does not invalidate that person's experience of what they're perceiving, because that's just what it is. Astral, you said, hey, do you know about what's going to happen on the 21st of December? We're moving into the 5D. So I think we think about the 21st, or we think about with everything happening, right? If you've gone through a spiritual awakening, you feel crazy because you no longer resonate with what's happening. And this is the idea of, let's just be honest, being from the 3D, when you go through awakening, you are integrating more heavily with the 5D. Therefore, just like in that example, you are perceiving things that are beyond the threshold of the majority, you know, the herd perception. So they're obviously going to think you're crazy. So what we're seeing now is that for some people, just like last year, the 21st, we had really big hype. And yeah, winter solstice is a wonderful time, and it is also a tipping point for the momentum of what's happening. We're going to further see ourselves, you could say, boost into the timelines that we see. Some people, like, it's like a landslide. For other people, it's something that they don't see at all. I think what's going to happen on the 21st is we're going to continue to see the integration of the 5D perception for those who are open to it, for those who are actually really just receptive to what that may look like for them individually. We will also see a lot of people where nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change because it's just like, what's good? Higher self 44. because literally they're just not open to that perception. And if you were to say, yo, we're moving into another timeline where things are actually going to be changing and shifting and more aligned with like the divine consciousness that you're connected to, and it's going to be tapped into at this level, unless that person is really open in any way, then they're going to see you as crazy. I know I tell my family all the time, I was like, yo, Galactic Federation of Light, we are all technically aliens in human bodies. Our bodies are just like controllers. This is like a stimulated reality. They thought I was a little crazy, but I had to plant those seeds anyways. And now I can see as things keep changing, it doesn't really change. Yes, more people I connect to on a daily basis are there to validate, like, hey, you're not crazy. I also came from like this star system, and my body is connected to this level of consciousness that is attuned with God and Source and all of the beautiful oneness. But also, just because there are more people saying like, hey, you're not crazy, that really doesn't take you were never crazy to begin with, if that makes sense. Even if there's no one around you to validate it, it doesn't mean that you're crazy. It just means that people cannot comprehend and understand the way that you're communicating your soul. So, yeah, I say it doesn't matter too much how people see you. Their perception is their learning. You being yourself, even if others think you're crazy, is expression of your inner power. Yeah, the ascension time, more so the body. I think we can see from last December 21st that a lot has changed. No, I know I made a parody video last year because of all of the hype and things I was hearing from the spiritual community that was happening. I mean, y'all are funny. But I believe that the perspective of these things are continuing to happen. I don't think that quite necessarily it will be like a landslide, like, oh my gosh, smack, like God literally smacks your eyes. I mean, they do that on an individual level. If you're watching this, then chances are creators already smacked your third eye open to some things that you needed to see. So I think maybe we were anticipating that literally like this, all of a sudden we would shift into this new timeline. Everyone would be perceiving that there's God within them, and we'd be all communing, and we'd understand the crazy things and the conspiracy theory. They all make sense. And I think that that's something I kind of was getting that we thought was going to happen was good. Peace, meditative juice. And what happened, right? What happened? Since we're all in the oneness, we're soulmates, and you're always working through there. Yes, you guys are my soulmates. That's why I appreciate you. And I agree. And I'm going to try to pronounce her name correctly. Nally. Okay, I feel like I didn't pronounce that right, but I tried. And I will continue to try. But yeah, I wish that we could give each other kindness and respect. Everyone has a perspective based on their experiences through their life journey. Even if they don't agree with you, yeah, absolutely. You know how many people be like, yo, the chakras are scary. You don't know what you're doing with that. Yikes. And I'm just like, honestly, at this point, it's all compassion. I'm like, thank you for being concerned enough to tell me about this, because I know that you're coming from a place of love and a place of wanting to protect me and a place of wanting to keep me safe in what you feel like is safe. I totally get it and I appreciate it. But having that compassion, realizing like, okay, there's so much that you don't know, and I will leave the seed here so that when you're ready and if you're open and receptive to it, and it is something here for you in this mission and in your lifetime, then you will be open and receive it. But yeah, you know, when it comes to the whole ascension, I think December 21st is just showing that we are continuing moving this momentum forward. I do believe like there are going to be these larger events that will happen to a larger scale of humans at one time that will help trigger more, but I don't know, personally I don't think it's going to be something that the whole earth is going to experience at the same time. I think it's just parts of the earth, just like how we all awakened around the similar time, but not all at once, right? I didn't one day call you up telepathically and was like, what's good, fam? Yeah, we online, we connected, but I'm excited. I am so excited. Like, having this conversation right now is amazing, and I'm so thankful. And today you saw a Dream Earth just born 5D, a little infant, but very high vibration. Oh, little baby, 5D Gaia. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. And we absolutely are ascending to a higher vibration with every single breath we take. During this time, those who think or assume that you are crazy for having a contradicting belief system to their own, bring compassion to them. Just bring compassion to them. I think that we could look at what's happening to the world, all for one, one for all is in one, yes. And we can see what's happening and we can think, oh my gosh, this is crazy. You're crazy for believing in this. And guess what? We all are reflections, fam. They're gonna think the same thing. Oh my gosh, you're crazy. You're crazy for believing in it. Yeah. And that's okay. The more that we can bring this compassion to that opposing side of resistance that we may feel within ourselves, that's where the landslide happens. That's where I feel the shift and the change happens as humans together in these connections. And when we actually allow ourselves to say, like, okay, maybe what I'm saying for you can appear to be something crazy because it's unknown and it's unfamiliar and it's not something that you recognize as being normal. But I don't think we're here to be normal, as in the way that the programmed matrix has been. Obviously not. I think we all know that we're here to kind of shift that up a little bit. And so, what is good, Raman? I think it's so important to allow ourselves the space to embrace the parts of ourselves that are just not normal, okay? The craziness in this, okay? You should be prepared a little bit because people think you're crazy and the world's gonna end, but not in the way people think. We're just gonna vibe higher with higher beings. I agree. Like, I think that whatever we are anticipating in December 21st, I mean, when we look at it numerology, like numeral wise, like it's 12, 21, 20, 21. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful number, and it's charged with a lot. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful. But I do believe that the timelines, what's kind of happening is we're syncing in terms of like synchronicities. We're syncing the energy that we have all individually felt, all of these experiences, and it's going to come together. So in my mind, I think it's more mentally preparing and conditioning us for what we are here to prepare for, not as much physically, because let's be real, mind over matter. Your physical body, if you know how manifestation works, is just kind of allowing us to perceive these things that will come to pass. And so really just allowing ourselves to tune into the spirit. And this is why we see so many people calling us crazy, because they're not attuned to the spirit. They are not in the 5D, which I believe is when we understand that our spirit actually has control over our physical, whereas many people believe the physical has control over everything else. So that for me is how I perceive it. And so when I'm interacting with beautiful souls and I see that I'm sharing all of this stuff, like your soul is so powerful, you know, there are people doing this, like telepathy, there's just all the telekinesis, there's like all of these things that are happening all over the world. And if they're coming from that place, if I'm sharing this with someone who is generally in the 3D and is still very ingrained in the physical world, then it literally looks like everything I'm saying is such a contradiction to what they're doing. And this ego alarm goes off. And I see the ego again as something that is a part of our physical identity. It is a part of how we keep ourselves safe and navigate through the world in the normal physical means. That's gonna go off. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense, even though like I'm totally just really ingrained in the physical, but my soul is stronger. I mean, their soul knows this, but their physical being, because they have the belief system that their physical is stronger than the spiritual, their physical is going to block their spiritual from sending those signals unless they're open to it, and it's going to cause them to deny that, you know, anything that you share and say that you're crazy. And this would be, I mean, you'd probably call somebody crazy if they were like, yo, your physical is the most important thing on this world. Like, your body, it controls everything. Okay, it's all connected. It's all connected. I'm getting like all energized out here, but it is all so connected. Like, it is so intertwined in such a way that having peace, understanding that they have a side and you have a side. Just like if your friend has schizophrenia and can see things beyond the veil and perceive things beyond, hear things and see things, like, they're not crazy for perceiving that, and you're not crazy for what they would maybe perceive as ignoring that. These are just the balances of understanding that each person has a different perspective. And we see that in the matrix, the program that we're kind of in. The safe route is to take what everybody else is thinking, because A, it's just a lot easier to communicate. B, you don't really have to use any effort. And C, if you don't have to think about it at all. It's just, it is what it is. And so a lot of people turn off their own individual minds, their souls, and that connection that is so unique and is providing a diverse perspective to this life experience, and they'd rather go the safer route because they don't want to look crazy. They want to fit in. You know, if you have all of these experiences, and if, you know, I mean, hey fam, good vibe, you found this account, you be searching, you have, you know, you find in your community out here. But a lot of the times, many people don't have this community, and when they're going through their spiritual awakening, you already know it can be kind of hard. It can be kind of hard. What's good, John? And yeah, astral, like, if anything happened to me supernatural, more than I can count on my fingers. And I think that's a blessing. At this point, sometimes I'll have people hitting me up and they'll be asking me to, like, exorcise demons from their friend that's been traveling through karmic cycles that have been with their grandmother, their mother, them. And, yeah, and then I'm like, okay, this happened in my reality for reasons, so let me go talk to them. And I'll talk to the entity and see what's up, and then be like, all right, be on your way, bro. There's so many times where these supernatural things have happened, and they're always happening all the time. And the reason they're supernatural is because they're literally right there in our faces. And it's a perspective that we have if we're open to seeing it. If we think that, okay, this is just a coincidence because physical 3D thinking, then it's just going to be a coincidence to our being, and we really won't think about it any more than that, and probably fret about some other 3D drama that's going on in our lives. But if we actually see that instance happen and we're connected to the 5D, we will see and understand that there is a spiritual cause for this happening in this exact moment that you had to perceive it. And therefore, it just gives this more richness to the life that you're living and experiencing, because you realize that nothing happens for coincidence. It's not a coincidence you're alive right now, fam. It's not a coincidence that you know what you know. I was just talking in the light language integration call, and we just were talking about the power of awareness, and that so many people have this wonderful power of awareness, okay? And I was going through a little panic attack, you know, a couple days ago. It wasn't so crazy. I just didn't know why I was feeling this way. And then I realized I can ask myself. I literally have the ability to tune into my soul dialect and look at the code of why I'm feeling this way and examine it. And then I can send it off to God, Oneness Soul Creator, and be like, all right, thank you for teaching me this lesson. Thank you for allowing me to understand why I feel this way. Like, this is something that we all have the power to do. Like, awareness is thebomb.com, all right? You want to get somebody a Christmas present that they will appreciate for a lifetime? Get them the gift of awareness. I'm not sure how you package that, but you'll find a way. I believe you, fam, because it is priceless, and it can make life so much better, because everything just makes such a beautiful flow. It is no longer like, whoa, what's happening? What's happening there? What's happening this? You know, where's the meaning of this dog that's walking down the street randomly? Oh, wow. When you tap into it and you have awareness that your soul is connected to you for a reason, think of all the people on the planet. Think of all the things that are happening right now in this moment. and you are here and you're listening to this just to bring awareness to the fact that you are such a powerful soul connected to your human body and finding that balance, because you are here for a mission. And I'm not going to get too much into the mission today because it's in our hearts and it's in our minds, but we need a little time. Ooh, and by the way, happy full moon in Gemini if you follow with Western astrology, because you know what? It makes a lot of sense, okay? The full moon in Gemini, I just see a squirrel, and it's probably because I'm getting distracted. For me, that just shows up like there's a little head to heart stuff happening, and some things and words that I just cannot actually say because I don't have the words for it, okay? I just don't have the words to explain how my heart is feeling and what's going on in my mind, and I'm okay with that. But yes, I think this also just resonates back to the focus of today's live, which is you're not crazy, and it's okay. It's okay, honestly. If people call you crazy, it really is okay. I have seen this word or the idea of being crazy as something that as a child I used to hide, the way that I was talking with entities, or hide just a lot of things that were going on in my mind, that psychologically I don't even know. I'm looking back at little Esther, I was like, whoa, what's going on there? But I realized that at this time in my life, I was more so fearful of how people would judge me, and off that base of judgment determined that I was crazy. And I guess I was sane enough to know that I have to blend in to society in order to not be perceived as crazy. And I think there's a balance, okay? I think really for me, crazy just looks like having a belief system that is different than the majority of the beings out there. And there are pros and cons to having a different belief system and communicating differently with the world that we live in. And honestly, I think we can see with everything going on in the world, there's a lot more pros being honest and true to your soul and the reason why you are here. People are always gonna judge us. You absolutely right, higher self. So why we gonna care? And guess what? I think the craziest thing is that we judge ourselves more than we judge other people. We really do. We really do. Like a new balance. I remember a coworker that would like just look at her face and like nitpick it, and I was like, wow, nobody can even see that. I know personally I didn't even notice, and she was like, look at this pimple, and I was like, literally nobody's gonna. She's like, yes, they are, and I was like, no. And I think that's a perfect just analogy of when we think people are gonna judge us, versus what's actually happening is that we're judging ourselves. We are fearful of other people based on our judgment of them. We say, ooh, that person is probably not gonna like it if I do it, or ooh, that person's gonna think I'm crazy if I do this. You're already judging them of how they're gonna judge you. Just think about that. That's funny. That's a little silly, but it happens. It hit something in my heart right there when I said that, so it's okay. We all have judgment. It has a purpose. Have that compassion. There it is. There's the compassion. There's where it belongs. When we are judging others or judging ourselves, bring that compassion. Yes, we all have judgment. Yes, we could say we don't really like judging others, or even in the spiritual community, there's a lot of judging others for judging others. But the real judgment day is against ourselves and the judgment that we hold towards the reflection that we see in the mirror every day. And with that being said, you have the key to unlock a cleaner, a pure, and a more compassionate place for just you. Yeah, the orbs flying by. That, wow, guys, I'm be honest, like, it just heart chakra heaviness right out here with this whole talk about judgment, but yes. But it's really just a calling of like almost like pressing through. It's not time to judge anyone right now. It's not. It's time to judge yourself. And with all of the judgment that we're gonna do, have compassion. Have compassion. No judgment is permanent. It is just kind of acknowledging what is or what may have happened. Yeah, you know how to get that candy cane hair, Sir Jester. You know what I'm saying. But for real, I think judgment is a blessing. When I look at other people around the street, I'm just in awe. I love people. Maybe a little bit too much, you know what I'm saying? No, but I love people. I love looking at them, observing them, and I don't really think I judge them. Maybe I do, but it's more like, okay, cool. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what's happening there. Or like, wow, like they have a dog. That's cool. And then when it comes to myself, I'm like, oh man, girl, you crazy. What you doing out there? Lazy. Get off your bed. You know what time it is? It's like 9. Come on. Stop reading those webtoons, you know? And sometimes we get so into judging ourselves and we think that others are going to automatically be like agreeing with it. Well, one thing is for certain, when we do have that reflection of ourselves and other people say something that is slightly in resonance with that, we're gonna be like, that's a confirmation. That means I am these things. Like, imagine, we all know the law of attraction. We all know that what you think is what you attract. What you pay attention to, again, with your awareness, is what you're bringing into your reality. So when we're judging ourselves, we're giving that opening for other people to come through and kind of judge us. But honestly, we have to go back with understanding. If somebody calls you crazy, but you know you're not crazy, are you gonna be like, oh man, I guess I am crazy? Or are you gonna be like, psh, okay, let's go on? Like, this is the whole idea. When you judge yourself, that's the only being that really matters with your perspective of judgment. I believe that we're living during judgment time, but it's not like the whole idea of cancel culture, like a whole group of, you know, people are gonna come up to your door and like post, like, look at a tweet you tweeted like a couple 10 or 20 years ago. No, I believe that it's literally just going to be you battling with the own inner perspective, because you've been here. You've seen yourself grow. You've seen what you've done. You've seen what you say. You've seen how you act. And you're the one that has the best authority when it comes to judgment. So when somebody calls you crazy, just be like, all right, you're gonna be okay. You want to be okay. Okay, so yes, astral intels. I learned light language by, it's something I always knew as a kid. It was really weird. I watched like Snow White or something, and I was just like, shit, man, so much miscommunication. As a child, in my mind, I was just so obsessed with communicating. I would talk to the trees. I would talk to people in my mind. I was like that kind of kid, and I started speaking in a different tongue pretty young, and I just remember thinking, like, I can't tell anybody. I literally remember as a child, I would speak light language to myself or a tree or something that couldn't judge me, and then when it came back and I would be in the presence of people, I remember just keeping it inside, a little thought in my mind, because I didn't want people to judge me. I really didn't want people to think I was crazy, because I was convinced if I ever started just speaking light language, I would go to an insane asylum, because they'd be like, you're crazy. That's foolishness, Esther. What are you doing, okay? And yeah, that is, you know, that is really what really sparked something within me. When I started seeing that, oh my gosh, there are people actually doing this, and I'm not crazy, and there is a purpose to this communication, then I think that's really when I allowed myself to open up. But again, for a really long time, I thought it was crazy because I didn't see anybody else doing it. And it's super easy to convince yourself that you are crazy if you don't have outside validation that your form of communication, whatever that may be, is valid and received. So again, with that idea of compassion, because it is important. So yes, it is important. And also, there is a light language resonance portal. We're doing our second cohort next year in March, and if you're interested in that, let me know. We're gonna have like a free light language workshop and a lot of good stuff, as well as the beautiful light resonance portal in its whole entirety, which is beautiful. You can actually get the replay. The replay is probably somewhere in the link in the description below, but yes, It's beautiful. I love my language. It's beautiful. It's really helped me be able to organize a lot of the thoughts in my mind and my heart. And also, I'm finding that I'm translating it a lot more easily than um, when I first started speaking it publicly. It's a lot easier for me to translate what I'm saying, also what other people are saying. So I think that's helped me with being aware that I'm not crazy and this isn't just gibberish, but it's a form of communication, but it takes time to give yourself space and compassion to kind of be a fool. Oh my gosh, guys. This got like real serious. The color just changed. I did not expect it to change. Well, that's it, guys. Check the language resonance portal. There's actually more, but that's it for the shameless promotion plug of light resonance portal. Okay, back to it. Oh, that's back to it. Okay. But yeah, okay. It is important to give yourself light and compassion. And yeah, we've been conditioned to feel like if we're not being productive, we're lazy. But sometimes Spirit's just telling us to rest. Girl, I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. Yes, I love and appreciate you guys. I just appreciate being alive, the planet, okay? Because we are shifting things, even if it's not like, even if it's not a landslide that we see right now, the building up of momentum, of giving yourself compassion for really just listening to your spirit, your soul, the connection you have to God, oneness, consciousness, creator that is within you and is just growing. Giving yourself space at this time. You don't have to overanalyze what you're doing all the time, and you can allow your judgment to be something for positive use. I think that there's always going to be a good and a bad to anything. There's good love and bad love. There's also good judgment and bad judgment, and look how we had to use judgment just to describe those two. Judgment in itself, for the way that we can use it to describe something good and bad, I think is a great thing. Judgment allows us to determine what we are actually resonating with, because we're able to really see, like, okay, do I resonate with this or not? Have that discernment. And so I believe judgment is so important, okay? It's so important. You have your judgment for a reason. And when it comes to yourself during this time of judgment, where it's just you and the God within you, that is literally within all beings and is connected, you already know the whole spiel. You don't have to wait for the dying day to actually look at how you're judging yourself, and to just kind of look. I think there's a lot of inner forgiveness sometimes, and that, I think, is going with the heaviness I felt in my heart and the compassion that we're feeling drawn to just highlight during this time. That compassion and that forgiveness of being like, hey, I'm sorry for maybe wrongfully judging you. If it's anything, I'm sorry for feeling like, you weren't good enough. I'm sorry for judging you as if you couldn't really attain your manifestations, or judging like your manifestations were something out of your reach. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Hono. It's definitely something I just love. I love it so much. When I was like dating my past ex, I would just make them repeat it all the time, because I believe that there's such power. Where I used to work as a swim instructor, I would say that under my breath when I was teaching kids how to swim, when I understood that some of them had a little trauma when it came to the water, and it was really important to be able to resolve that trauma, and therefore it helped tremendously. So if I were to say one thing I would like to happen, for this whole event that we believe is happening, or we feel in our soul is happening even now as I'm speaking, it would be that we'd be able to look within ourselves and forgive ourselves firstly, and each other. Just bring that love, because I feel forgiveness is just one of the greatest forms of love. It resolves all of the things that are, even if forgiving people for saying that you're crazy, when they're coming from a place of either fear or just ignorance, just allowing yourself to forgive that, because it doesn't mean that you want that to be repeated, or that you're doormat and they're stepping over you, but it truly gives yourself almost the ability to rise above that. When you forgive someone, it's like, hey, it's all right, fam. It's all right. I mean, it's not all right. That's why you don't say it's all right. But I forgive you. what are you doing? You're giving them back that karma. So give back the karma that's not yours, okay? There's no need for you to hand on it. And forgive yourself first, okay? There's no need for you to hang on to that karma. Anyways, that's really it. And how do we attract the abundance life? Ooh, we are exactly the way that we're supposed to. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, so we're here to change the world. Yes, and that's very late, higher self, okay, 2 p.m. But a really big part of abundance is realizing that in this moment, every single thing that we need is here for us. That is it. I believe abundance is not overly lavish, having more than enough. Because I feel like if you have more than enough, you're going to have to drag that around. And that in itself is just kind of an inconvenience, okay? If you have more than you need in that moment, then you're gonna have to drag it around, and it really isn't giving you the freedom that I feel like when I envision abundance, that's what I see. I see the freedom of really doing whatever you want, supporting and helping whoever you want, growing and exploring whatever you want and are here to explore. So abundance is understanding that in every single moment you are taken care of, that you have what you need. You have a shelter, you have food, you have the warmth, you have what you need in this moment. And again, when we think about the 5D versus the 3D, the 3D says that I'm not abundance unless I have these things because it's governed by the physical reality. Therefore, it is only going to wait for the physical to validate it. Whereas the 5D understands that the spirit is governing the flesh, or governing the world and the physical. Therefore, by just tapping into that frequency of infinite abundance, of love, of life, of awareness that you have everything that you need right now, that you are taken care of because you are connected to the one that is connected to the all, then you see this abundance translate into the physical world. So that for me is how I see abundance. It really is a little bit of trust and a little bit of being aware of what's happening in your present moment. You have everything that you need, and the more you can bring gratitude to this, because gratitude is the attitude of attraction, the more you will see this become your reality. So, oh yes, practicing. What you believe about yourself comes true. Absolutely, Ruben. And yes, practice gratitude. So you guys already know. I'm so thankful for you. I'm so thankful for this space. I'm so thankful for the awareness that we all hold, that we are connected to something so much bigger and so connected to each one of us that we can tap into it at any time, and that it can assist us in the physical world through navigating and flowing. You are more than you can perceive. And if somebody calls you crazy for attempting to explore and perceive more of who you are, then just allow yourself to have compassion and continue on your way with what you are here to do. But yeah, I freaking love you, okay? GoFundMe for awareness. Give the gift of awareness, okay, to your family. Give the gift of awareness to your friends. Give the gift of awareness to yourself, okay? Because I think that's the most important thing. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about abundance. Don't worry about your manifestation, because guess what? If you are just aware of this moment, everything else that you need will come, okay? That's amazing. All right, the last thing I wanted to share is a quick story. All right, and this is it. Okay, I was walking down the street the other day with my dog, and it was an ordinary day. It was in my neighborhood, and all of a sudden, I saw a Hennessy bottle on the ground. Now, for whatever reason, in that moment, my perspective changed, and I thought, oh my God, this is a potion bottle. I didn't pick it up or anything, but I realized, like, there's spirits in this kind of concoction, and it just made me realize, like, wow, the world is so magical. And then I thought about the giant kind of ritual ceremony that's happening, which is really crazy, and we see it's happening to a lot of people. But bringing it back into that, I realized, like, everything I need is provided for me, and this physical reality is such a blessing to experience. My soul beamed down into this little body so that I could experience it. I'm not here forever, but I sure as heck really appreciate being here and now, because it's awesome. And that awareness it just brings so much joy to me every day. So, yes, just remember, literally everything is so magical. It's your perspective and how you judge things that will deem how you really experience this life. So have compassion, bring forgiveness, and bring that awareness. Just bring that awareness into your day and the rest of your reality. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you, and I just appreciate having an opportunity to share these thoughts and express myself in such a way. Guess what? You're not crazy. You are perfectly aware of what you're here to be aware of. And if somebody calls you crazy next time, just take it as a compliment. I know that's what I started doing, but you know, what can I say? When you talk about aliens and channeling and 5D and 3D consciousness and some of the things that we are aware of, sometimes it happens. But yeah, you're awesome, you're special, you're not crazy, and you're a blessing. Use your awareness, and I'm so excited to hear how you gift it to somebody else as well. And thank you again for just joining. If you're interested in learning more about light language, yes, the description will have the Light Resonance Portal replay. And I stay tuned because you will be getting more on the light language resonance, like the new workshop that we have coming up. So yes, I will keep you updated, fam. Enjoy the rest of your day, though. I'm sending so much love to you as well. And thank you so much for just creating this beautiful space with me. I appreciate you and all of the souls that are here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have an amazing rest of your day, good viber. Keep, raising the vibe. And I will see you in the next video, live stream, whatever that may be. Oh, let me know if you have any suggestions. I'm always down for the suggestions. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But yes, God bless. Namaste.